Going live.
Yay.
And we are live. So good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day today. We have a special guest with us today. Her name is Jeanell Greene. She will be talking about healthy relationships. Jeanell Greene is a relationship expert and coach who works with individuals who are committed to, but struggles with keeping the fun, the connection, and intimacy alive in their marriage or relationships. Through her own experience with divorce and now presently living inside a beautiful 14-year marriage she had always imagined, she brings word of hope, wisdom, and compassion in an authentic, no-nonsense style to both her private clients as well as stages everywhere. Jeanell is committed to transforming what it means to be married and is living proof that romance, intimacy, and playfulness can blossom and grow long after the honeymoon stage. We are very lucky to have her to join us today. So thank you everyone for joining us on Facebook, Clubhouse, and Instagram. I am Fred.
I'm John.
Hi, I'm Cyrene.
Okay, let's bring Jeanell in. Hey, good morning, Jeanell.
Hey, Jeanell.
Good morning, everyone.
Thanks for being on our show. How are you doing?
Absolutely. I am fantastic.
Nice. So, yeah, tell us what you do and why you do what you do.
Well, I am a certified life coach and relationship coach. I'm also actually a certified bucket list coach. And really what I'm out to do is what I'm committed is that people love the lives that they have and the people in it, quite simply. Our time on this planet is really short. And a life without love is no life at all. And so I'm really passionate about people having lives that they love rather than lives that they just sort of coast through and numb out and wait till it's over. Like, why not have some fun and really experience life while we're here and be of service?
Nice. Because you've got through a divorce yourself as well.
I have.
And you're talking by experience, and now you are living in this beautiful, vibrant marriage.
Yeah, where I would say, one thing I want to share is that, it started when I was 9. My mom called me, my brother, and my sister into the living room, and she said to us, there was my dad and a set of luggage, and she said to us, your dad is leaving us. He doesn't love us anymore. And what you don't know is that my dad was having an affair with my mom's best friend, and they were having a child. And in that moment, I realized that, obviously later on, but I realized that I made a decision at that moment that I can't trust men, that everybody I love will leave me, and that I'm unlovable. And so that really followed me, which I didn't know, into the future for the next 30 years of my life. And so here I am in the future, dating the men that I was dating, and they were not great men. They were the ones that cheated and lied, and that was what I attracted. And I couldn't figure out why that was what I was attracted to until I saw back when I was 9, these decisions I made. And so I feel like we all have some sort of version of that, where something that happened when we were kids is now impacting the kind of relationships that we have. If we grew up with single parents or poor parents or parents that fought all the time, that is what we are comfortable with, even though we know it's not healthy. We know that's not what we want, but that's just kind of what is our comfort. And so we tend to gravitate to that, even if we don't want that.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like I'm hearing it's like a phobia that sets in when we're very young, and that's things that trigger us and kind of subconsciously come out when we least expect it. And so sounds like when you're going through when you're growing up with different relationships, it's almost like you're almost aware of when is it going to happen? You're almost expecting.
Yeah.
And then so you're always on that guard because you can't be fully open, right? You can't really open up your heart and you're be fully there in the relationship.
Absolutely. And when you don't have relationships that are complete, they will follow you. So I have a really great example. So my husband is so generous. I go shopping and he's like, good for you. My ex-husband was the opposite. He would be like, why are you buying that? You're spending all this money. And so now I go out to buy a pair, I went grocery shopping, and besides Save on Foods was Reitman's. So I went to go grocery shopping and I came home with 7 items from Reitman's. So I go home with my tail between my legs, feeling like, oh man, I went shopping. I shouldn't have. And I say to my husband, babe, I did something really bad today. I went shopping. He's like, good for you. You deserve it. And even though this conversation has been going on for 15 years, he's never gotten mad at me for buying things. The old experience of my ex-husband is like right there. You know what I mean?
You're afraid that that's gonna come back. Like
Yeah.
That's why you gotta tiptoes. I went shopping today.
Even though for the last 15 years
Yeah.
that's never happened, but there's this moment that's just like right there.
Yeah.
Right. So replace my ex-husband with your mom, your grandma, your aunt, whatever. And there's a lot of times where people will remind us of somebody else. It may not be an ex-lover, but there may be this woman that you're just like, I don't know why I don't like her. And it's usually because she reminds you of someone in your past that you didn't get along with, but has nothing to do with that person. So being able to catch that and be aware and really check in and be self-aware with yourself, like, oh, okay, it has nothing to do with this person. It's actually something else. But a lot of people don't have that self-awareness to catch that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
When you're being asked by these young just starting off marriages, like they could be in 2 to 4 years. And I think those are the actual crucial times of a marriage to getting to know each other. How do you say to someone, these are the strategies to work on?
How do I do that?
Yes.
Well, to be honest, I really don't believe in a one size fits all. I mean, I definitely, there's, if we were to position it a different way, I would say, like, a lot of people ask me, like, how do I have what you have?
Mm-hmm.
Is the question I get a lot. How do I get that? And there's sort of 3 things that come to my mind. The first thing that comes to my mind is expect nothing. And I don't mean that in a, well, so then nothing's going to happen. No, what I mean is, like, when we put expectations on each other and the other person doesn't fulfill them, and we get upset. But the issue is that we don't actually express the expectation. We just put it on that person.
What? You can't read my mind?
You can't read my mind. So, for example, my husband makes coffee every single morning. He's up before I am. He makes coffee. And so 95% of the time, coffee is made. However, if I go downstairs and coffee is not made, I'm not going to get upset because I don't expect it. If it's there, bonus. If it's not there, that's okay. But I think that's a lot of what is going on with a lot of these couples that aren't doing great, is that they have these expectations that, first of all, aren't agreed upon, aren't communicated. And then there's like no space for people's humanity. It's like, yeah, we forget sometimes. Yeah, we're absent-minded, or, yes, we put the dishes not in the sink, but on the side of the sink. And we punish people for things that really, at the end of the day, don't matter. But the impact that we leave on people, making them feel less than amazing, is detrimental. I think especially for women, we sometimes forget that even though guys may not be great at expressing their emotions, they still feel, they still have emotions. So when we say really mean things to them, it does hurt. And so, I would say that would be the other thing with being in a relationship is, especially being married. It's like, it's the whole experience of having someone have your back like nobody else. And when your partner is down on the ground, not being their best, I believe as your partner it's our job to pull them up, or to come down to where they and go, hey, are you okay? I got your back. What do you need? Whereas I think a lot of partners go, well, that's your problem. I got my own issues over here. You deal with yourself. you let me know when you're done. You know?
When it comes to your client, what kind of people do you attract? Do you attract the people that are having a great relationship, but they want to keep it like this forever and they want to prevent like deterioration? Or do you have people that are kind of fighting right now, and then they don't want to leave each other, but they're looking into getting better?
Yeah, I would say the latter.
Yeah.
Especially with men, you know, they'll usually wait till it's really, really bad to ask. You know, a lot of men just asking for help, they see it occurs to them as weakness.
We also think that we can fix it, right? We're always
and you think you can fix it by yourself.
We can.
Knowing fully well that women are a huge like question mark for most men. And yet they think that doing the same thing over and over again, they're going to get a different result.
No,
So usually they come to me when it's like they're almost about to break up or they're separated already and they're wanting to make things, or there's been some infidelity in the relationship. However, they are committed to working it out.
Yeah.
I think sorry. No, I think the important thing that I've been trying to implement is, you know, I shouldn't say I have a short fuse, but I'm one of those that, you know, I told the rest of the people here is our team here is, I'm one of those I'm pretty chill as a guy. Like I don't snap too much, but I kind of, you know, I tell my kids, you know, if daddy ever gets mad, it's because I've told you 9 times, 10 times it's going to be like the fuse actually, like the firecracker will go off. But then I also have to look at myself and say, you know, what am I getting mad at? Like if I'm telling them 10 times for this one thing, then there's something wrong with how I'm treating it as well. So I've been kind of using this one word or 2 words is just chill. And I tell my kids that like this, it's, you know, just kind of chill it out, and my wife as well, as it's not that big of a deal because there's, and that's looking at it from the outside, because I see things that my wife gets, you know, panicky about or get upset about. And I go, why are you getting mad? Like if it was the same thing, I would never get that mad or that stressed out. But then she'll do the same thing, that she'll, why are you so upset? Like what's going on? And I tell her. So it's kind of like what you're seeing is the perception from guys and girls and kids and parents, and because we're not identical.
Yeah, you know, and that brings up a really great point, is that we were never taught in school how to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so even for myself, you know, my background is sales. I did sales for 15 years and I really didn't get what a crappy listener I was till about 4 years ago. It's like I listen to respond. I don't listen to listen. And so as a coach, that is a huge and important skill to have.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, you know, so for example, you were saying, John, like, you know, your wife is, right? And you're going, well, what's the big deal? Why are you being so sensitive? Or why are you overreacting? Rather than being like, hey, babe, I got it. That thing that, you know, Joe did, I can see why you're really upset. You know, I feel you. You know, is there anything I can do for you? You know, because I think people just want to feel gotten. I know for me as a woman, there's moments where my emotions feel so irrational and I feel like I'm almost going crazy. And for my husband to sit down and go, babe, I get it. You know, I get the emotion that you're feeling. I'm sorry you're feeling that. It's like, oh, okay. I feel like I've got someone right there who gets me. You know, he doesn't have to understand what I'm going through, especially if it's a womanly thing. But I have this experience that someone has my back and loves me, even though I'm being a little cuckoo bird. Right?
Yeah, that's quite powerful, actually.
Yeah, because you know what? Here's the thing, guys. And, you know, I'm sure Cyrene and Fred could probably attest to this, is like being in an intimate and loving relationship is really about building trust and appreciation for each other. You know,
Oh,
a lot of couples come to me and say, well, you know, we're not having a lot of sex. And my question is, you know, what is the state of your actual relationship? Because I feel that your sex life tends to be correlative to the experience of the actual relationship. You know, but yeah, I think the listening piece is something that we all need to work on, whether it's our spouse, whether it's our kids, even ourselves. I feel like we deny what's really in our hearts because we're dictated by what society, what our job, what our parents, our culture tells us we should be like,
Oh,
rather than really
absolutely.
listening.
I was supposed
Mhm.
to have an arranged marriage when I was 15, 16 years old, right? So that's one thing, and our culture is a lot different. And I met my husband when I was 21, so I didn't know very much. But at the same time, I'm living in Canada. I'm trying to put the pieces together. One, having a cultural background and being true to that. At the same time, I live in Canada, so I'm picking up the different cultures and I'm trying to blend in and fit in. And then having that conversation from being an Indian girl, Indian Fijian girl, being Muslim, to marrying a non, and so that's another conversation to be had. And then in the beginning, I mimicked my mother and my parents. So I was more subservient, and I was more like, come eat at the table at the same time. But then Larry would work long hours. So we did clash in the beginning because I didn't realize I didn't understand him the way I should. That's for sure. And I had expectations get passed down to me from my family. It's like, oh, my mom is subservient, I should be subservient. So the men come first and a certain ways, as opposed to learning to be okay being my own identity and having that respect given to me, and so he's always been loving, caring, and he helped me to actually be pulled away from my limited beliefs. And then the other thing is that girls compare themselves as is, oh, it should be Disneyland. Like I am a princess. I should be married to my prince and be taken care of, right? That's another brainwashed thing that we're always taking. It's not like, oh, you have to work at your relationship. And if it's not working, it's because of him not taking accountability for what's not happening with you.
Oh, so good. Sorry. There's so much you said in there. One of the things the last thing you just said to me, a lot of times I get these phone calls that says, Jeanell, I want me and my husband to come for like coaching, but he doesn't want to, or counseling, but he doesn't want to. And I'm so frustrated and I feel like he doesn't care about our relationship. I'm like, well, hold on. So he thinks there's nothing wrong. She's like, yeah, but you think there's something wrong. Well, yeah. Okay, so consider that there's actually nothing wrong with him. He is the way he is. He's perfect, just the way he is. And you're trying to fix him. How's that going for you? And I said,
your expectation of him as well.
Yeah. And so I said to her, this woman, she works out 5 days a week. She's very fit. And I said to her, what if I came to you and said, you need to go on a diet? You would tell me to F off, right? She's like, yeah, it's because you don't think so. Well, that's how he feels. He doesn't think he needs this. And, it's like you're trying to fix him, but there's really nothing to fix.
But-
And I said, and I want you to look over where you are. What's going on with you that you feel like he needs to be fixed? Is there something that you, for yourself, you're trying to fix through him? And she was like, oh.
Big bomb, right? The big bomb.
Big bomb.
But
yeah, but it's so easy to put the blame or the accountability and responsibility over there rather than actually owning your jerkiness. Yeah. And then the second thing I want to say, Cyrene, was that was the same thing with my ex-husband. I grew up in a family where my parents did the dishes together. They went to church together, everything together. And here's my ex-husband who was the complete opposite. He loved his workshop, and he wanted to be in there till from the time he got home from work till the time he went to bed. And so I was alone a lot of the time. And for me, that didn't work. And I blamed him and said, oh, he's a crappy husband. But really, it was my own expectations of what I thought a marriage was versus what he thought a marriage was. And he grew up in a home where mommy stayed home, didn't work, took care of the house. And that's what he expected from me. I'm like, nah, man, I'm a career woman, And so it really just, our expectations did not jive. And there's nothing wrong. He was who he was and I was who I was. It just didn't jive. But I think a lot of times we make it like the other person is bad and uncaring. And we just put so much hate over there when it really isn't. It's just all made up.
Yeah, it's made up stories, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it's deadly.
I kind of have to, I try to remind myself and catch myself. It's kind of like all of us were in relationships, or before we ended up with who we are with.
Mhm.
And you've heard the saying, Jeanell, and all of us have, is kind of, why couldn't our relationship be like when we were dating? Because you're on
Mhm.
your best behavior and you guys haven't found out each other's habits and quirks and whatever it may be. But you kind of have to, like, I'm realizing now that there's things about my wife I'm never going to change. Like, no matter what I do, what I say, how I'm going to, subliminal messages, that whatever it is, it's not going to work. So like, I think we've got to, I shouldn't say pick the battles, but just pick the things that is worth kind of supporting them on. And just the rest is like, so what, kind of like, the cap off the toothpaste, or, toilet seat up, toilet seat down. I was like, who cares, is it really worth kind of ruining the day by starting off in the morning and having that argument, right? And it's hard because it took me a long time to get some of these things that were like, it had to be my way, and I said, no, it doesn't have to be my way, because now I have 2 kids out right now, throwing everything else into the mix, and I have to, your tolerance have to be really, really high.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of my favorite sayings and quotes is be the change you wish to see. So if you want more love and affection and appreciation and service from your partner, be that first. I think a lot of people wait for the other person. Well, he hasn't done it for me. Why should I do it for him? Or, whatever.
Yeah.
And both people are waiting for the other one to make a move. Well, what if both parties were both invested and committed to being that for each other?
I
Right?
agree with you, Jeanell. Yes.
Yeah, my husband is my greatest teacher. He teaches me how to be, because God did not bless me with patience. And my husband has the patience of an angel. And like, I really learned from him how
Wow.
to be that way, how to just be loving regardless of what's going on. And there'll be times when I wake up in the morning and my hair is completely messed up. I haven't washed my face. And my husband looks over to me and goes, "You are so beautiful." And I look at him like he's crazy. And I'm like, "Well, prove it to me." He's like, "Why do I have to prove it? Why can't I just love you just the way you are?" I'm like, "Because I look like crap." He's like, "But that's not why I love you." Right. And so, this whole unconditional love thing, we talk about it, we say we want it, and yet our actions are not aligned with that. And then we wonder why we don't have this experience of like true connection and intimacy and like acceptance that we so badly all want, and yet we're unable to give that to other people. And then we wonder, like, why does my life feel this way? Well, that's why.
Well, it's up to us to take the first step to fix it, I guess, or to do something about it, I guess. If we're expecting the change to happen, then we might be waiting forever. Yeah.
Oops. Right. You know what? I agree. What I just want to add to that is, like, I didn't know what love was, and I thought I did. You think you're going to get married, you're in love and everything else. And then all of a sudden you're going, something doesn't fit right. Like, the way I show up and the way he talk, my husband is like your husband. He is my mentor. We have fun together. We laugh and we do so many things together. But then I still had that limited belief of basically it should be a certain way. But until I let go of the attachment and expectations on that, I started creating my life. I started creating my marriage. We go on, like, we've been going on dates every Friday, since we've been together. And the thing is, we have those deep conversations. It's like, what are you up to? Where do you want to go, or where do you want to travel, or what is your belief? What motivates you? How can we grow together? The key is to grow together. Like, you see other people that are going 50, 60 years old. They have something, right? And you have to learn how to communicate and not apologize for it. So we have to give ourselves permission. That's when I started loving more.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about family, because I think, the way we are with our friends, I feel like we're a lot nicer to our friends than we are to our family. And I just want to share, like, on that note, Sareen. So my brother-in-law, him and my sister have been married for 20 years. And he grew up with a single mom who was a drug addict. She actually died of a fentanyl overdose about 15 years ago. They found her in a room in the downtown East Side, you know, very, very sad. And so my brother-in-law grew up in a very different family structure than I did. And so when he came into our family with the baggage that he had, we were super judgy about him, right? He didn't know what family, it's like he didn't know what family values were because he didn't have one. He basically self-raised himself since he was like 13 and just kind of bounced from home to home and lived with different grandparents. But I really saw for the first 15 years, I did not like this man. He was not good enough for my sister, and he was an alcoholic. And he kind of had that Jekyll and Hyde type of alcoholism where he would either get in a fight or say something really inappropriate. And so it was kind of scary when we would start seeing him drink at a party or at home. We go, oh, here we go, you know, and me and my family would gossip about him and be like, oh my gosh, look how he's being. He was just all wrong, right? We were just like, when is this man leaving? And then there was a moment a couple years ago, I was doing this integrity course and they asked us to look at which of our relationships would we score the lowest? And he was the first one that came to my mind. And I realized that I had so many expectations of him, of what kind of man he should be, what kind of husband he should be. And I realized the impact of me holding him as though he's not good enough is that it was impacting my whole family. There was a divide. There was my sister on one side and him, and then the rest of the family on the other. And now we were expecting a baby. My sister was about to have a baby, and we realized, like, this does not work. And so I called him up and I said, hey, I just want to apologize for treating you the way I've been treating you for the last 15 years. You know, I say that I'm committed to family and love and acceptance, and I actually don't treat you that way. And that's not what I'm committed to. And moving forward, I just want to let you know that I have your back and that I'm sorry for judging you. And who you are is, you must be an amazing person because my sister loves you. So I'm committed to developing this relationship. And I love you. And since that moment, every time we see each other, we hug, we talk about our lives. And I really get the experience of why he drinks. And I have so much sympathy and empathy for his life journey. But before, I was never curious. I just judged him from afar, you know? And that was 2 years ago. And he's been sober for 6 months. He's happy. My sister feels like, she always says she thinks she has a different husband. And it wasn't that necessarily that he changed, but I changed who I saw him as. And now our family is a completely different entity, and we're all, it's completely transformed. And I'd like to think that was started when I had that conversation with him.
Wow.
Awesome.
Hey, before we close this session, I wanted you to talk a little bit about the 7-day little challenge that you're offering.
Oh, yes. So, you know, I am a huge believer of having fun and playing your relationship, regardless if you have 10 kids, if you're by yourself, you've been married for 50 years, there's always time for fun and play. And so I created a 7-day challenge where each day you are going to do something fun and playful with your partner, and something that you've never done before. So it could be like slow dancing in the living room for 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be this long, grand gesture. It can just be these little sweet things to do. You know, maybe writing a note to your partner that you think they're sexy, or maybe just living your fantasies and taking the resignation that's been perhaps sitting in your relationship for a while, putting that aside and actually putting effort to do something not for you, but for your partner and what they think would be really amazing. Like me and my husband, we're definitely into music. And so we listen to music, we dance around in the living room, we We sing, we do karaoke, we do things that give us joy. And again, it doesn't have to take 2 hours. It can be give your partner a massage.
Nice. And to register, so we have the link. So I'm going to add the link to this video. So whoever would like to join the 7-day challenge, I strongly suggest that you should do. I might join it myself. Why not?
Yeah. You know what? We're all at home. Why not bring some fun into it? You know, and yeah, you know what? Maybe you're like, oh, this is so cheesy, but guess what? Just embrace the cheese, because you don't know what's on the other side. Like, get out of your comfort zone and just show up. Like, that's what your partner wants. They just want you to put some effort and show up fully.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Awesome.
So thank you very much, Jeanell. The show is coming
You're
to an
welcome.
end. Next Tuesday, April 6th, we are going to talk about melatonin. And then on April 8th, we have Jermaine Lafortune, a business coach. So tune in for some great tips on owning your own home-based business, or any business really. On Friday, April 9th, we have the naturopath, Dr. Farine Kourji. She's going to talk about the liver health and how to detoxify your liver. April 13th, we're talking about fasting, either for religious reason or dieting. And April 15th, we're having Selena Sandhu talking about confidence from within. So that should be also quite interesting. And I wanted to mention that we also have our birthday challenge still happening. So we are going to decide of a grand winner at the end of the month, because now it's the 1st of April. So at the end of April, we'll decide who is going to come on our show. So all you have to do is let us know in a comment through our post, or reaching us by email. Why would you like to be on our show? And what we could talk about with you, because we will pick your subject and expand on it. So,
and also, it's a special day today. It's somebody's birthday as well.
Oh,
Who could it be?
Who could it be? Should we sing a little happy birthday, Cyrene? Happy birthday, Cyrene. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, you guys. That means a lot to me. Love you all.
How is it to feel 40? 40, 41.
Last time, I think I feel pretty good.
There you go.
Check the mirror.
Awesome.
I hope you have a fabulous day as well, Cyrene.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're just not doing too much.
Yeah, well, you can't do much because everything is closed again because of COVID here in BC anyway.
That's right.
So there's not much we can do. So thank you guys very much. And I hope that you are having the tools that you need now to create a great relationship, and maybe tools that you can implement as quick as today. And if you have any questions, you can reach to us or reach to Jeanell, because we are going to put her links into this video. So
great.
thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in.